Okay. So this is the Think and Grow Rich Saturday call on December 31st, New Year's Eve, and I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time out today to join the call. I promise you that we get extreme value from this, and what we're going to be discussing is the chapter on faith. Now, most of you, I hope, have read the book, Think and Grow Rich. I have read the book for 28 years. I started reading at age 22. The book club that I was in, was a very interesting one in that what most of the time we ended up doing is discussing the chapter, and then if you really didn't get a good grasp of what the chapter was about, my mentor and Lou Segura would make us read it out loud every day for 30 days until you understood it. Lou was a school teacher and was making $500,000 a year in financial services. So he was able to translate his skills into financial service sales. One of the things that I discovered is that he took the same style of teaching to running the book club. And if you've only read the book once, you have no idea what the book is about. If you've listened to the audios once, you still have no clue. So what I would suggest you do is that you make a decision today to master the principles in this book. And last time we were on the call, we discussed the chapter on desire. And I always ask this question: has anybody figured out what is the secret in Think and Grow Rich? And most people think that they know what the secret is. And they think it's we become what we think about, or they think it's auto-suggestion, or they think it's persistence, or they think it's believe, conceive, and achieve, conceive, believe, and achieve. So they go through all this thinking that that's the secret that Napoleon Hill refers to. There's actually two secrets in the book. The first secret was the secret that Andrew Carnegie gave to Napoleon Hill. And that was the secret that he used to build his incredible fortune. And Andrew Carnegie told Napoleon Hill that with these two things, these two secrets, he could go into any industry, any business, and within a period of time, he would dominate that industry. Because back then, they believed in monopolies. They weren't looking to conquer one city, they were looking to conquer the world. So they were the conquerors they were empire builders of the economic side. If economics wasn't their forte, they would have been incredible generals like Napoleon, Caesar, Genghis Khan, and so forth and so on, because they believed in domination and they dominated markets. The two secrets that Napoleon Hill received from Andrew Carnegie was, number one, that you must have an exact, definite purpose in life. Now, what that means is that you must have an exact goal. It doesn't have to be financial, because this process works for anything. If you want to go to college, you must know exactly what college you want to go to, exactly what you're going to major in. And you don't need to know the plan, you just need to know the outcome to be exact. If you want to buy a house, you need to know how many square feet, how many bedrooms, how many baths, what style, how much property it's going to be on. You need to know all these things in order to make it happen. Because a hazy goal will at best produce a hazy result. And that's not exactly what we want. So the first thing he told them is you must have an exact goal, a definite goal of something you want in your life. And second, he said, more important than that is to surround yourself with a group of individuals that harmonize, agree with the goal that you want to achieve. And the Mastermind Principle is not a choice. It is necessary for you to achieve success. Because what you're doing when you decide to set a goal is, if you really begin to understand it, you are focusing on changing your beliefs. You see, people going into 2017 are going to be looking at their results, and they're going to say, you know, I didn't lose enough weight, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right relationships. So they're looking at the results that they currently have. And then they're going to say, well, the way I change my results is by changing my actions. And so they go on diets, they join the gym, they buy a course to teach them how to talk to women, or how to attract men, or how to be better in relationships. And so they immediately go from the results to the action, hoping that the action will change their results. And the problem is that that doesn't work. The reason why is because your actions are determined by your habits. And so if you have a habit of getting up late every day, if you have a habit of watching too much television, if you have a habit of partying too much, you're not going to stay consistent enough to do the work required. So where it all starts is, it starts with your beliefs. And so if you believe, for example, and I'd like all of you to do a quick exercise with me so that this point really makes sense to you. I'd like you to look around the room that you're in, unless you're driving a car, Toby, and look around the room and look for anything in the room that's red. It might be a pair of pants, it might be a shirt, it might be a pair of sneakers, it might be a painting, it might be the coloring of the wall. Just look around the room and find everything that's red. Red, red, red. Only look for red. When you have everything in the room that's red, I want you to close your eyes and then tell me what you see that's blue. And the odds are that you don't know one damn thing that's blue. Well, that's how the subconscious mind works. If you believe that green people are bad and red people are good, every time, if you invited some green people and red people to your home, and at the end of the day, when you left the party and asked everybody to leave your home, if your Rolex watch was missing, odds are that you're going to blame the green people, because your belief says that green people steal, green people are untrustworthy, etc., etc. Even if the evidence points towards the red people, you're still going to believe that it was a green person that took it, and that's all you're going to see. If you're in a relationship and you believe that your spouse is not supportive enough, not loving enough, not open-minded or positive, guess what you're going to only see? That's all you're going to see, because that's what you believe. And even if you try to see the positive in them, your subconscious mind will not allow you, because that's not what you believe. So the way to change anything in your life is to first know that it's your beliefs that determine your habits. It's your habits that determine your thoughts. It's your thoughts that determine your actions, and it's your actions that determine your results, and your results determine your destiny. So the way to change your results is to first address two things. The first is your thoughts, your beliefs, and then to address your actions. There's two ways of changing your beliefs. The first way is a very strong emotional event. A near-death experience will qualify. Children who are traumatized early in life and become emotionally traumatized, not physically, but emotionally, although physically many times does the same thing because it involves your emotions. Children that are emotionally traumatized early in life keep repeating the same behavior over and over again, because a strong emotional event associated with a thought becomes programmed very quickly into your subconscious mind. If you were to think back on a childhood memory, a memory of when you were under, say, 5 years of age, and if you thought about it right now and you imagined it, you would probably remember that there was a strong emotion attached to that memory, and that's why you could remember it. For me, that memory was that when I was very young, 3 or 4 years old, I was in a Volkswagen Beetle here in Florida that ended up in a ditch. And nobody could get out of the vehicle because the doors wouldn't open because we were in a ditch. and I had to climb out through the little sunroof because I was the only one that could fit to flag down help to get us out of the ditch. Now, I didn't realize that memory. I'd forgotten about it until I was in the Virgin Islands, and a buddy of mine had rented a car, and we went up the mountain. We wanted to see the mountain. There's a beautiful viewpoint from one of the St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. And so we got up there, and it was really beautiful, worth the drive. And then on the way down, now, mind you, I was a paratrooper in the Army, okay? And after that, I was a Ranger. And so jumping out of planes and looking at heights is not a fear of mine. It never has been. So it would surprise me that when we were going down the hill, down the mountain, I was on the right side, which was overlooking a precipice. And for me, when I looked at it at first, it didn't matter. But the guy that was driving the car began speeding up and driving very recklessly. And this was our honeymoon, and he had his bride with him, and I had my ex-wife with me. And all of a sudden, as we're driving down this mountain, I start feeling a panic attack, and I've never had panic attacks. And I was gripping the front seat so hard that my ex-wife taps my hand and says, "Why are your knuckles white?" And I didn't know why, because I was just reacting. Because in my mind, I'm thinking not about the precipice, but about that childhood memory of ending up in a ditch. Because I was in that same seat. I was on the right side looking at the ditch as we went into it. And so even though as an adult I knew that I shouldn't fear this, my childhood memory was so strong because of that event that it brought that fear out in me. And so I literally told the guy that if he didn't stop, I was going to punch him in the mouth. And his wife says, "Stop, Bert's really freaking out." And so these memories impact you. Now, to give you another idea, when I was a very young boy, my dad served in the military, and he spent 2.5 years as a prisoner of war. And when I was very young, I had a memory of getting into a fight at school and kicking this kid's ass that was my age. And he said to me, "I'm going to get my brother to kick your ass." And I said, "Yeah, screw you and your brother." Well, 2 days later, his brother, and I was in 4th grade or 5th grade, his brother, who was in high school, shows up with another kid and proceeds to pound my head into a stop sign and throws me into the floor and puts a beating on me where I have a scar here to this day and a scar on my chin. And I ended up going home crying and bleeding all over the place. And my dad was still a prisoner of war. And I had an older sister, which I felt was useless, because I really wanted an older brother to help me go back and kick these guys' ass. But instead, my mother came out with me in tow with an umbrella, and she was looking to kick these kids' ass, kick their asses. Now, you would think that I would feel proud that my mom was willing to help me fight my battles, but I was embarrassed, to have your mother come out with an umbrella to fight a fight. Thank God these kids had run away. But in my small mind, in my small child mind, I linked up that my dad did not care enough for me, and that's why he wasn't there to help me fight my fights and learn how to fight and all these other things. Now, that behavior led me to later on in life getting involved in the Rangers, because people that have questions about their manhood, type A alpha personalities, go to try to prove themselves. And consequently, throughout my life, I have a 2nd-degree black belt in karate, I have a brown belt in judo, and I'm a purple belt in Brazilian or Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, because these things impacted me at such an early age that it became a driving force, even though I didn't recognize it. And that's the power of an emotional event. And I wanted to just make that point. However, we can't always control the emotional event. So the second thing, and the only way that we can change our beliefs, is by changing our auto-suggestion. The things that we say to ourselves over and over again are what ultimately will change our destiny. So Napoleon Hill, in the chapter on faith, says many things. And I'm going to share with you in a minute the secret in the book. I don't believe that you should wait any longer to discover it for yourself. So I'm going to kind of ruin the surprise for you. And when you hear the secret, it's going to surprise you because it's really simple. But Napoleon Hill in the chapter on faith says, faith is the head chemist of the mind. When faith is blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration and translates it into its spiritual equivalent and transmits it to your infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. He goes on to say that faith, that there's 3 positive emotions that can be mixed with autosuggestion. One is sex, the second is love, and the third is faith. And Napoleon Hill goes on in other recordings and books to identify what the most optimal mastermind is. And understand this, in order for you to succeed, you must be part of a mastermind. You must associate yourself with like-minded individuals who, when you share your goals with them, are not going to destroy your belief. Because success is not a matter of your why. It's not a matter of your how. It's really all about your belief. Every decision that you've made in life up until this point has been because of your belief in yourself. If you don't believe that you're great with people, if you don't believe that you're a good salesperson or you could be a good salesperson, if somebody walked up to you with an opportunity to go into real estate sales where you could make a fortune, let's say, and you believe that you couldn't do that kind of work because you're more of a hands-on or a technical guy or gal, you would either do one of 2 things. One, you would pass up on that opportunity because you don't believe that you can do it. Or second, you might try it, but you'll self-sabotage because along the way, that belief is going to come back up. And so we must address those things. Napoleon Hill in the chapter on faith gives us a very powerful poem. And a poem that I, from the age of 22, put on the wall of my home in the foyer, and I would read it out loud every day before I left the house in the morning, and I would read it every day when I came in. To this day, I still do that. I have the poem laminated by the door to my apartment here in Florida. And that poem says, if you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. For out of the world we find that it's all in a fellow's will. It's all in a state of mind. Whether you can or you cannot, you're right. And those words were from Henry Ford. Henry Ford understood that to achieve success in life, you must be willing to explore the possibility. For all of you that have at some point used this affirmation or these words or have believed in them, the words sound like this: it wasn't meant to be. If that's part of your belief system, I'm going to encourage you today to drop that. There's nothing that's meant to be when it comes to life. The only thing that's meant to be in life is death and taxes, as they say. Everything else you have to work for. If it comes easy, it isn't because it was meant to be. It's because you had sufficient self-confidence and willingness to take action. And so faith is an emotion that you do not have. You can't create faith immediately. Faith is created through the repetition of orders to the subconscious mind. So in order for you to have faith or belief in yourself, you must say it over and over again. Because Napoleon Hill tells us, even a lie repeated often enough becomes the truth. Those words you should memorize because they're so true. Today, you believe lies. You believe that Kleenex is a tissue. You believe that a Mustang is a car. You believe that Crest is a toothpaste. You might even believe, as I once did, that I wanted to be an Oscar Mayer wiener because it's what I truly want to be.
Subconscious.
Because if I was an Oscar Mayer wiener, everybody would be in love with me. Now, Oscar Mayer wiener is a hot dog. But yet, because of that jingle and the repetition of it growing up, I didn't have to memorize it. It just became part of my mental process. How many things do you believe that are not true? And do you really think that you make your decisions in life? Or are you acting out from your belief system? If it's possible that you believe that green people are bad and red people are good, and even though the facts will show you that perhaps green people are not all bad and that red people are not all good, you still are not going to see it that way. So your decisions, your actions are going to come from that belief system. If you believe that your life stinks, then you're going to find thoughts and actions that will reinforce that behavior. I used to own a piece of 35% ownership in a couple of dealerships years ago. And I would go down to the people that were buying a Toyota, and I would go to them and I'd say, hey, thank you for purchasing the Toyota from us. The Toyota Camry is one of the most popular cars on the market today. You've probably seen a lot of them on the road. And the people go, oh my God, driving here today, we saw so many Toyota Camrys in silver, the color that we bought. It looks like everybody owns a Camry. And I'd say, yes, it's one of the most popular cars in the United States. And then I'd leave and I'd go over to the Honda dealership that we own. And I'd say, thank you for buying a Honda Accord. You probably notice that it's one of the most popular cars. And people would say, oh my God, this is the most popular car in the market. Driving here, we saw so many Honda Accords and they were all the same color as ours, burgundy. This must be the most popular car in the most popular color. And then I'd go over to the Ford dealership. And I would say, this is one of the best trucks on the market today, the F-150. And people would say, oh my God, there's so many F-150s on the road, and they're all in this beautiful dark blue color. Now, how is it possible that everybody thought that their car or their truck was the most popular car and truck, and that their color was the most popular color? It's because they saw what they wanted to see. And so it is about us. If you're not happy with the results in your life, it's because that's what you were thinking. Paul J. Meyer once shared with us an affirmation that was taken right out of Think and Grow Rich. And it is this: if you're not now making the progress you would like to make and are capable of making, it's because your goals are not clearly defined. That's part one. And part two was, sorry, buttoning my shirt. Part two was, you are where you are and what you are because of the dominating thought and thoughts that you allow to occupy your mind. The subconscious mind. Yes.
Hey, Bert, one question here, and this is one thing I always have an issue with. You talk about getting clear with your goals and stuff like that, but one of the things that's really tough is figuring out what your goals are. I mean, as far as like, you know, what do you really want? It's hard to sit there and define that.
It can be. It can be. It can be a struggle. And that's usually what messes everybody up. May I share with you my goals?
Sure.
Okay. So one of the things, the secret, before I tell you that my statement, Napoleon Hill tells us the secret, and it's reinforced in every chapter. And here's what he told me when I read his book many times. He said his son Blair, the one with no ears, picked up the manuscript for the book that he was writing called The 12 Steps to Riches, 13 Steps to Riches, sorry, which is Think and Grow Rich, because it was retitled. And he said he picked up the chapter on desire, and right then and there he found the secret. And he applied the secret, and using the secret, he was able to get a job with the hearing aid company that was an incredible salary and an incredible opportunity for him. And he said he found that secret in the chapter on desire. And then later on he tells us that that secret is not only in the chapter on desire, but also on the chapter on faith, the chapter on autosuggestion, the chapter on persistence, the chapter on subconscious mind, and the chapter on the mastermind. And here it is. I mean, he tells you clearly what it is. He says, the method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical steps. First, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Substitute money for goal. It is not sufficient merely to say I want plenty of money, or I want a beautiful new house, or I want a car. Be definite as to the amount. There is a psychological reason for definiteness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. Second, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money. There's no such thing as something for nothing. You can't sit there and go, I want a Mercedes-Benz, I want a Mercedes-Benz, and the law of attraction miraculously brings it to your door. Because the subconscious mind does not deal in physical objects. It deals in ideas, thoughts, and plans. And if like attracts like, which it does, All your friends are people that like you or you like them. You have commonality. You are not friends with people who hate you. You don't hang around with people you dislike. If you're a non-smoker, chances are that most of your friends are not smokers. If you love the Giants, odds are that you are not a Dallas, you don't have friends who are Dallas fans. If you're a Yankee fan, odds are that none of your friends are Red Sox fans. Like attracts like. The subconscious mind attracts thoughts, ideas, plans, and purposes that are within the realm of what you are already thinking. Like attracts like. That's the reason for making your thoughts a definite purpose. So second, you must determine what you intend to give. Third, establish a deadline. Fourth, write it down. Write down your goal, write down the plan, write down the deadline. Sixth, read your statement out loud a minimum of 2 times per day. And see and feel yourself already in possession of the object that you want. Whatever it is, whether it's you want a new car, you want to go to college, you want to graduate from college, you want to become a physician, you want to get your master's degree, whatever the goal is, you must follow these 6 steps. And if you do, then you will accomplish success. How do I know that? Because this book is not a personal development book. This is a documentary of 500 of the wealthiest people in the world, not the Mark Zuckerbergs and Bill Gates, because those people had a leg up. It's not easy to get into Harvard, and it's not easy to get your parents to pay for it. So the fact that they went to Harvard says that they really didn't have much of a struggle. They still struggled. However, when you take a guy like Andrew Carnegie, whose father passed away at age 3, he barely spoke English, he had a thick Scottish accent, he had no money, no education, no position in life, and yet he is still today considered the wealthiest man in the world. If you took the money that he sold Carnegie Steel to create U.S. Steel, which is over $333 million, and you translated that into today's dollars, he's worth in excess of $150 billion. Bill Gates is sitting at a paltry $50 billion, depending on what day you look at the stock market. 3 times the wealth from a man with no education, with every obstacle in his way. And here's the most important thing. Andrew Carnegie didn't know shit about steel. He started out as a young boy working in the Pittsburgh mines. And then he went to work for the railroad as a clerk. And then he got an opportunity because he sat there in the telegraph office, and he taught himself how to do telegraph. And one day, the telegraph man stepped out for lunch, and an important telegraph came in, and he was able to translate it, and he knew it was important, so he took it to the owner of the railroad, who the telegraph was intended for, who got the telegraph, and it was a major problem. There was a line out, and it was going to cause a problem with the railroad. And this man asked him, "Are you my regular telegraph boy?" And he said, "No, sir, I'm your clerk." And he says, "Well, how do you know how to do this?" He said, "I just learned." And so he took it upon himself to mentor Andrew Carnegie, because he saw that the young boy had initiative, even though he lacked an education. But Andrew Carnegie did not allow the lack of education to influence his life. He had one of the finest libraries. And when one person asked him once, because he had a huge library in his home, if he had read every book, he said at least once. Andrew Carnegie is responsible for funding the library system in the United States. He contributed 1/3 of his fortune to the libraries in this country. The Carnegie Mellon Foundation, Carnegie Hall. And if you Google, he is the largest philanthropist in history. He has exceeded everybody else in philanthropy. But yet he's still the richest man in the world with no education. Henry Ford, no education. Didn't know crap about cars. What he did is he bought a car, he took it apart, and he put it back together again a few times. He is credited with developing the assembly line system. But what very few people know is that in 1896, Henry Ford went to work for this gentleman who was considered one of the smartest men in history. His name was Thomas Edison. And he worked in the Edison laboratory for 2 years until he was promoted to one of his engineers. When he finally got an opportunity to meet Edison, he asked Edison, hey, Mr. Edison, would you mind if I tinker around with this new gas-powered engine, diesel engine, whatever it was back then? And Edison said, as long as it doesn't take away from your time on your bench. Now, Ford had no education, no money. Henry Ford started Ford Motor Company 3 times, okay? 3 times until it finally succeeded. But who was in his mastermind group? Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, Woodrow Wilson, and Jim Wrigley, the chewing gum king. The story goes that how could you not become a great and wealthy person as he did if you associated yourself with minds like Thomas Edison? Thomas Edison has over 150 patents. He is considered the most prolific inventor in history. And he was the first to create a commercial laboratory. And what he did is he would have a system of desks. And so when you first got the product to put together, one person would put it together to a certain point, and then they'd walk it over to another desk, and the other person would take over, and that person would go back and get a new one and begin on it. He had an assembly line. Henry Ford took that idea and said, rather than having one person build a car from scratch to finish, what if that person just works on one component like we did in the Edison laboratory? One person didn't build a dictaphone, one person built the case, another person built the wiring, the other person built the microphone. Everything was broken up and then assembled. And so these ideas come from that. So the most important thing is those 6 steps. And so my statement, my goals sound like this. It is my birthday, February 20th, 2017, and I, Bert, Superman Herna, am so happy and grateful now that I am receiving over $100,000 in monthly residual income from my global enterprise businesses. I easily and effortlessly accomplish all my tasks, which includes creating an imperative important list daily, 20 contacts per day, 10 presentations per day, and 15 new clients per week, thus ensuring my success. I experience joy each day knowing that what I'm doing is being of service to others and to myself. I am a young, vibrant, handsome, attractive, and super sexy man of action. I am a lean, fit, muscular, 170-pound man that works out at least 3 times per week without fail. I am disciplined, organized, scheduled, responsible, punctual, single-minded, and laser-focused leader who completes all my tasks. I am a worthy, deserving, gorgeous, and beautiful man that is open to receive all that has been given to me and more. I am a great listener, flexible, understanding, and patient in dealing with others. As a result of my concentrated effort and steadfast determination, I am now experiencing unparalleled love, joy, happiness, fun, romance, time and financial freedom, abundance, peace of mind, and excellent health. I enjoy the believable pleasure of driving my new lunar metallic blue with a burlwood trim Mercedes-Benz SL 550 convertible down the sun-drenched, palm tree-laden roads of Clearwater Beach, Florida. I have saved over $100,000 in liquid cash this year, and everything has been resolved in my favor, for I am truly blessed. I am now envisioning daily, planning and organizing for my plan to own a luxury $1.5 million condominium with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a spectacular oceanfront view of Clearwater Beach, Florida. I enjoy cruising the waterways and islands of the Caribbean in my new white with a black stripe Sea Ray 260 Sundancer, and I live a life of fun, adventure, and travel. On my birthday, February 20th, 2020, I am so happy and grateful now that my net worth is over $20 million. I thank you, God, for it is done. Now,
it is done.
It is done.
It is done.
Now, if you have any doubt about that statement, understand that it's memorized, okay? And in our mastermind group, we say our statement a minimum of 5 times per day, along with the self-confidence formula. Why? Well, usually I do it with more emotion than that. But to answer your question, how do you become crystal clear? You decide. See, the problem with most people is they're afraid to decide because they're afraid that they may not get it. If I decide that I want a $1.5 million condominium with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, what happens if I don't get that? Then I'm going to see myself as a failure. And for some people, that's not an option. Other people say, but wait, if I get that $1.5 million condominium, then I'm going to have to pay taxes on it. My friends are going to be jealous of me, and I'm going to lose my friends. And so they focus, some people focus on the fear of failure, and other people focus on the fear of success. When I was a sales manager in Prudential, some of my agents would say to me, I don't want to make more money. I'm going to have to pay more taxes. And I'd say, you're going to pay 30 cents on a dollar. So you're focusing on the 30 cents instead of the 70 cents you get to keep. I said, why don't you focus on making money and then you can figure out how to keep it. There are such things as tax shelters and businesses that will shelter your money as well. But they focused on lack, on failure, rather than on success. Some focus more on success and the negative consequences of success. I don't want to succeed because succeeding means I have to work 7 days a week. I have to give up my family. I'm going to be broken down. I have to steal. They have all these negative associations. Napoleon Hill said that if you are not money conscious, then by default, you are poverty conscious. Let me tell you that in another way. Our minds are like a fertile garden where anything will grow. If we plant grass in our fertile garden, grass will grow. However, what happens in a garden if you don't plant grass? What's going to grow anyway? Anybody?
Weeds.
Weeds. And you don't have to do anything. Hey, Toby, before you go, can you do your statement real quick? Toby, can you do your statement real quick before you go?
I left.
I unmuted you, Toby.
I had to figure out how to get off mute.
Oh, okay. Can you do your statement real quick?
Sure.
Awesome. I'm going to go get water.
It is 21 December 2017, and I, Dr. Torbjörn Stanson, the Rocket Man Bergstrom, am so happy and grateful now that I am receiving at least $100,000 in residual income from my book sales investment portfolio and the operation of the DBT companies. I easily and effortlessly accomplish my daily tasks, which include writing for 2 hours, focusing on marketing for 1 hour, posting at least one video, following up with 2 clients and 4 prospects. I maintain 165 pounds by eating right, drinking hydrating fluids, and exercising daily. Have a loving relationship with Shui. We support each other and communicate freely, forming a mastermind that is creating everything we desire. I experience joy each day, knowing that what I am doing is being of service to others and to myself. I am a loving, lean, worthy, beautiful, respectful, scheduled, organized, laser-focused leader who achieves all of my outcomes and meets all of my deadlines. As a result of my genuine efforts and understanding of the universe, I'm experiencing an unparalleled freedom of time, money, love, personal growth, and contribution. I travel by private jet, bringing family and friends to locations around the world, and I am pumped when I drive my jet black V12 bi-turbo S65 Mercedes around the New England countryside. I am now envisioning daily, planning and organizing for my plan to establish a net worth of over $1 billion, living with my family in the Valley House Estate on the island of Kauai, purchasing a Gulfstream G550 by my birthday, 21 December 2019, and giving over $300 million to support manufacturing education. Thank you, God, for it is done.
It is done.
It is done.
Now we have a certain.
It is done.
It is done. Toby's in our mastermind, and what we have is, besides the regular Think and Grow Rich group, we have a mastermind of between 50 and 80 people from all around the world. We have people in Kabul, Canada. Kabul is in Afghanistan. Canada, both coasts of the United States, Australia and New Zealand, and one person that was in Denmark and now is in New York. And what we do is, I started this group because of my frustration in talking to people about coaching. And a lot of people have coaches. And so the first thing I ask them is, I say, what's your goal? And many times, in fact, too many times, they didn't know what their goal was. They would say things like, I want to make more money. I want to make $1 million next year. I want to make 100,000. I want to start my own company. And when they tell me a statement like that, I clearly know that they don't understand the principles. Some of them, one lady told me that she was spending $2,000 a month for the last 2 years with a coach, a Tony Robbins coach. And I said to her, what's your goal? And she says, well, I'm not clear yet on it. So I looked at her and I said, wait a minute, you spent almost $50,000 with a coach, and this person has not helped you to get crystal clear on what you want? She said, no, that's my job. I said, so how, if I were to coach you, would I help you get results when you clearly don't know what you want? And obviously I wouldn't either. So what you're doing is you're paying that coach $50,000 a year $25,000 a year, $50,000 in 2 years, to what? Listen to you for 45 minutes to an hour? That's not results. That's bullshit. Well, she got mad at me because she liked the coach. And I said, I don't give a shit if you like the person or not. For you to experience success in life, you must know exactly where you're going. Period. End of story. I said, imagine trying to get something accomplished today and you don't make a to-do list and you don't decide what you want to do. You're going to waste your day. Or imagine creating a to-do list for today, and then after you write it, you close it and you put it in your desk drawer. How much would you get accomplished? You'd be lucky if you got 1 or 2 things done, and they would probably be the easiest ones. You see, goals in life are the same as a to-do list. If you've ever used a to-do list for when you're planning a vacation to make sure you don't forget anything before you get on the plane, you know that you make a very good list and you make sure that you're checking that list over and over and over again to make sure that everything is there, because you don't want to get on that plane and be sitting on the beach in Hawaii or the Bahamas or in Vegas and then realize that you forgot your medication, you forgot your checking, your bank account, your credit card, you forgot your passport, you forgot your driver's license. You don't want to do that. But yet, what do we do with our lives? We don't create a list of the things we want, and therefore we get nothing accomplished. You see, I hear people all the time saying that success in life is not a straight line. It's a zigzag. Bullshit. If you decided today that you wanted to come down here to Tampa, Florida, you would get into your car and you would put on your GPS. You go to Google Maps and you'd route it. And barring any detours, you would get here pretty much in a straight line or whatever the highway dictates. However, if you got in your car and decided that you just wanted to go for a drive with no specific destination, and I call you up and I say, hey, Hugh, I'm down here in Tampa, man. It's beautiful. It's 65 degrees outside. It's a little cold. You'll have to wear socks with those sandals because we're experiencing a blizzard. 65 degrees here is a blizzard. Come on down. I got a pool in my development. We've got a workout area. We'll do a quick workout, and then we'll hit the pool and see some hot babes. And you're like, dude, I'm down. Car turns around. Now you set the GPS. And now you're heading here. And as you're heading here, you go about a couple 100 miles, and then Toby calls you up and says, hey, Hugh, I'm here in Boston, and we're having this incredible party for New Year's today. This club is going to be crazy. I'm leaving the wife and kids at home, and I'm escaping. My wife gave me a hall pass on New Year's Day. That'd be a great hall pass. He says, if you come down here, I'm going to put you up at the hotel because I'm filthy rich, which Toby is, filthy and rich. I'm going to put you up at one of the best hotels, and I got you covered. I'm going to pay for your booze. I'm going to pay for the girls. I got you covered for everything. Get down here. What's going to happen? You're evaluating. Bert's got the pool and the workout room and possibly some babes. But where do I sleep tonight? Am I sleeping on the floor? All right, you know what? Toby, I'm coming. Get that room ready. Pop the bottles. Pop them corks. I'm there. That's what we do in life. We don't decide on what we want. And so we're constantly going from here to there. And so Paul J. Meyer told us once that if you're not living out of your plan of action, if you're not living from your goals, then by default, you're going to live out of somebody else's plan of action and somebody else's goals. Because when you meet somebody who is determined, who is confident, you're going to be swayed by that person. Alexander was one of the greatest generals in history. Not the most successful, but one of the greatest. What endeared him to his troops is that unlike other generals, he did not command from the rear. He would get on his white horse and he would lead the charge, which his soldiers loved him for it because they knew that he was risking his life alongside them. Unlike Julius Caesar, who would sit in the back and direct all his captains and lieutenants to go fight. Hey, I'm here safe. I'll just move the little pawns around. You go get them, guys. But the most successful general in history, most people don't know, was Genghis Khan. because Genghis Khan used psychological warfare. He would take a town over and he would tell them, either surrender or I will kill everybody in the town. Dogs, men, women, children. Nobody will survive. If they surrendered and became part of his empire, nothing happened. But most of the time they wouldn't surrender. So he would go into that town and he would burn the town to the ground. He would kill every man, dog, animal, woman, children, everybody, except one person. One person. And he would tell that person, go to the next town and tell them what happened here. And tell them that when I come, if they don't surrender, I will do the same thing. And so that person would hustle his little butt off and he'd run there and they would tell him. And sometimes they would listen and sometimes they didn't. And if they didn't, Mr. Khan would do the same thing and he would let one person survive and they would go and tell the next town. Eventually, after he did this enough times, all towns throughout China surrendered to him because they knew that he was going to kill every man, woman, and child. And that's psychological warfare. And so he was the most successful general in history. Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, Napoleon, none of them matched his accomplishments because of that difference. So, but what was it that he had? He knew what he wanted, and that was to build, to take over the Chinese empire and to rule Asia. And so you must decide. How do you decide? You make a decision. You decide today what you want. Now, in our group, as you heard Toby say his statement, and you heard my statement, we focus, we know that whatever you write down, whatever you put down on a pad, whatever you write down on a pad, and you repeat out loud, with full emotion, enthusiasm, and faith, over and over again, that it will change your attitude and your beliefs, and consequently your actions and your results. However, we know that whatever we put down will happen. If I write it down and I affirm it and I visualize it, it will happen. No doubt about that. If you doubt that, you can check history. Bruce Lee, in 1969, said that he wrote down his definite chief aim. He said, I, Bruce Lee, will become the most successful Oriental superstar by 1970. And by 1980, I will have in my possession $10 million. By 1973, before he died, he was the most successful Oriental superstar in the United States. And by 1974, he had earned over $10 million. Even in death, he accomplished his goal. Dolly Parton read Think and Grow Rich and applied it to her life. Damon John from Shark Tank and FUBU applied it to his life. Oprah Winfrey read the book 13 times. Barbara Cochran from Shark Tank read the book and applied it. Billy Ray Cyrus, Miley's dad, read Think and Grow Rich and applied it to his life. For some people that may know these names, Liberace read Think and Grow Rich and The Magic of Believing and applied it to his life because nobody believed in him. Phyllis Diller, the famous female comedian that's responsible for many of the comedians such as Joan Rivers and others who were more raunchy, didn't believe in herself. She was told that she was too ugly to be a comedian and she wasn't funny enough and that she should go get a job as a secretary. But she didn't believe them and she decided to become a comedian. When she wanted to turn to acting, they told her that she was way too ugly to be an actress. And so she better stick with her comedy. But Phyllis Diller didn't listen to them and she got casted in many movies where she displayed her talents as both an actress and a comedian, or actor and comedian. The stories abound over and over and over again about the people that have used this book to achieve success in life. Arnold Schwarzenegger read the book at age 15. Sylvester Stallone read the book and applied it to his life. I mean, we could use the names from history. Michael Jackson read the book, the basketball player. Jordan read the book. There's a couple other basketball players in the book. And it gave them the persistence, because how can you be persistent? You see, you can't be persistent if you don't believe, right? So it starts with faith. Faith is what it's all about. Faith is the head chemist. What does that mean? That in order for you to accomplish your goals, you must mix faith with that. So how do you do that when you don't truly believe? You see, in our mastermind group, we set goals in 4 areas of our lives. We have a financial and career goal. We have a health and fitness goal. We have a family and relationships goal. And we have goals for growth, contribution, and spirituality. Why? Because we know that people like Rockefeller, people like Henry Ford, who focused only on one area of life, were very successful. They were obsessed with their success. However, they ignored other areas of their life. So their marriages weren't the best, their health wasn't the best, because they had no focus on it. You see, the benefit of writing it down and repeating it every day is that it's going to make you goal-directed and laser-focused. And that's what everybody in life lacks: goal direction and laser focus. We focus on too many things. We diffuse ourselves. We believe in multitasking. Multitasking doesn't exist. If it did, then you'd be going outside and driving your car while texting. Okay, and we know how well that works, right? So I don't encourage you to do that, and I don't encourage you to multitask. And in this group, we're going to be talking about some of the things to do to increase 3 areas of our lives: our effectiveness, our focus, and our discipline. You see, succeeding in life is not about hitting that home run. It's about hitting the singles, the doubles, and triples. It's about success one step at a time. It's about success habits and a success ritual. And so the reason for a mastermind is the same reason that Alcoholics Anonymous is a mastermind, the same reason that Weight Watchers is a mastermind, because those people are trying to change habits. You're trying to change your habits. One of the habits that I instituted this year is I wake up at 5:30 every morning. Now, I'm a night person. I've always said I'm a night person. When I was in the military, when that horn went off, I was kicking and groaning not to get out of bed. And I swore the day at age 22, when I left the military, I swore that I would never get up at sunrise. I would never be up at 5 o'clock in the morning again, because I hated it. I was in the service for 5 years, and I hated every day that I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, when all I wanted to do was sleep a little later, because I'm a night person. And so in 2003, I started working on the internet. And I developed an internet business in 2003 that by 2012 was grossing $60,000 a month, selling physical products online and digital products. And I'd get up at 11 o'clock. And people would say, "Bert, why do you get up so late?" I go, "Dude, while you're sleeping 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm working, because I'm a night person." But what I forgot is that the rest of the world doesn't work around my schedule. So when I was getting up at 11 o'clock, before you knew it, it was noon, and then I'm getting phone calls. And before you know it, because everybody's working a 8 to 5 schedule, I'm getting interruptions, so I wasn't as productive. So I had to work late into the night to accomplish the things that I want. So this year, 2 weeks ago, I decided that I would be up at 5:30 every morning. Now, we all set alarms for when to go to bed, when to wake up, right? But how many of us set an alarm of when to go to bed? You see, the reason that people hate getting up in the morning is because they go to bed too late, and they don't get enough REM sleep in order for them to work to perform effectively. And so there's ways you can change that, and I'll share with you that going forward. So faith is an emotion that only comes as a result of repetition. However, when you say your statement, like I did, you can say it in a way where you suspend disbelief. You see, I don't know how I'm going to make $100,000 in monthly residual income from my global international businesses. I have no idea, but I don't care, because I know that my subconscious mind will begin to attract the people if I need the people, the money if I need the money, the ideas if I need the ideas, the resources if I need the resources. And second, I know that infinite intelligence, God, if you will help me in that. So I don't care about the how. You see, when Facebook first started, Mark Zuckerberg didn't know that it was going to be 1 million subscribers. He didn't know that there was going to be 1.5 billion people on Facebook every day. He had no idea. He just knew that he wanted a platform where he could figure out what girls were in a relationship and which ones weren't, so he could go hit on them. That's how it started out, before it was called Facebook. Guys just want to know what girls were in a relationship so they wouldn't waste their time hitting on them. And so if they said single status, boom, all the guys hit on them. or messaged her or whatever. However, somebody put in his head the idea, and it was the guy that started, oh crap, what was the name of that company? Doesn't matter. Put in his idea that not to think in millions, but to think of $1 billion company. And so when Google offered Facebook a couple of $billion for the company, Mark Zuckerberg turned it down. You did too, huh, Kerman? Yeah, don't want to be up early. Hate that. Hate that. So it wasn't, see, the plan, when you first start out, all you have is a vision, a dream, an idea. And then as you begin taking action, the plan begins to develop. You know, Paul J. Meyer once said, it's kind of like climbing a mountain. When you begin climbing the mountain and you start looking for the summit, you don't really see anything but the summit. That's all you can see, your destination. He says, but once you get to the summit, guess what you get to see? You get to see all the other mountains and all the other destinations. And so now you can set your sights on a different mountain to climb. And then when you climb that one, you still don't see all the others because you're only focused on that summit. But once you reach that summit, now you can see the other mountains. You know, how does somebody, you know, the pole vaulters in the Olympics jump like 16, 17 feet over the bar? But how do they start out? Do you think they start out at 15, 16, 17 feet? No. They might start out at 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet. And then they keep raising the bar, right? The hurdlers, same thing. The pole vaulters and the hurdlers, same thing. And then at some point, when they get up to near the top, it's no longer inches or feet that they grow, it's maybe millimeters, right? Like the distance between Michael Phelps and the second place guy isn't like he's 15 minutes ahead of him. It's inches, it's the slight edge. It's millimeters, it's seconds, it's microseconds sometimes. The difference between winning and losing. It's that fine-tuned. And so in life, we must first determine our goal. So how do we do that? Well, our financial goal is based on doubling our income. We take whatever is the most income we've made in a year, we divide it by 12, and then we double it. So my highest income year, I netted $50,000 in a month for over a year. So my goal is $100,000 a monthly residual income from my global enterprise businesses. My fitness goal is I am a lean, fit, muscular, 170-pound man that works out at least 3 times per week without fail. But we go into more than that because the statement that Napoleon Hill gave us was very elementary. And there are certain things that I want to affirm. Now, my Mercedes-Benz will make me feel a certain way, but I don't want to wait until then to experience these feelings. A year ago, my statement, there's a section of the statement that addresses how I want to feel. A year ago, my statement says, I am now experiencing unparalleled financial freedom, abundance, peace of mind, and excellent health. And then I met a woman online on Facebook. We started chatting, and I went and visited her down here in Florida. And after spending a weekend with her, on the way back from Florida to New Jersey, I added, I am now experiencing financial freedom. No, I'm sorry. Time and financial freedom. I added time because I realized I've had financial freedom, but I never had the time to enjoy it. And now I want the time. I want to spend more time with her. So I said time and financial freedom, abundance, peace of mind, and excellent health. And then I met her in Vegas for a family event. We spent 10 days together. And flying back from Vegas, I made another distinction. And I added, I am now experiencing unparalleled love, joy, happiness, fun, romance, time and financial freedom, abundance, peace of mind, and excellent health. Why? Because I wanted these feelings and I don't want to wait for them. I want to experience them on a daily basis, and I want my dominant thought, what I'm going to attract, to be these things. We also, in our statement, address not only how we want to feel, but who we need to become. I'm a promoter personality. A promoter personality is somebody that enjoys talking to people, being with people. They like being the center of attention. Big surprise there, right? However, promoter personalities hate paperwork. They hate being on time. They hate being disciplined. They hate being scheduled. So for years now, my statement has been, I am a disciplined, organized, scheduled, responsible, punctual, single-minded, and laser-focused leader who completes all my tasks. And I am all those things except organized. It's the only one I have a challenge with. But I decided long ago that I can delegate that. So I delegated. So I am organized because I schedule, discipline, and organize the people that do it for me. The other thing we do is when you come into our mastermind, we spend a great deal of time getting you crystal clear. I used to have a video training program where I just plug people in and they watch these videos. And the problem was still the same. They didn't get crystal clear. And if you notice, everything in my statement is absolutely crystal clear. It's not a new car. It's a Mercedes-Benz SL 550 convertible, lunar metallic blue with a Burrowood trim. It's not a boat. It's a Sea Ray 260 Sundancer, white with a black stripe. Why white with a black stripe? Because that's the only color it comes in. It even has a name, the Phoenix. I could walk right now into the boat dealership. I could walk into the Mercedes dealership and buy the car because I know exactly what I want. You see, most of you don't, and that's because you're afraid that you may not get it. But the fear needs to go away. And the way the fear goes away is by yelling out to the universe what you want. If you're afraid to say it out loud, you'll never manifest it. You see, all the governments throughout history never feared thought. You know what they feared? The First Amendment. Freedom of speech. Every government, every repressive government limits your speech. Why? Because they don't fear the thought, they fear the speech. Because as long as it's in your head, as long as the goal is not written down, it's not real. The moment you write down the goal and the moment you begin to articulate it emotionally with enthusiasm and faith, then it becomes real for you. And so we understand this because Napoleon Hill told us, plain, unemotional words have no impact upon the subconscious mind. You could repeat over and over again the famous Emile Coué affirmation, every day and in every way, I am getting better and better, and you will make no appreciable results. He said so many people went for cures at the Nancy Institute in France with Mr. Emile Coué, but so many people that were cured, so many weren't. They left the same way they came. And he said it was because they did not say the affirmation with emotion. It is emotion that generates the change. It's an emotional impact that changes your life. And you choose to create that for yourself. So when I say my statement, I suspend disbelief. I say, I don't know how, I don't know why, and I don't care. It will show up. It has before, and it will again. I had an opportunity many years ago to invest $10 million in a car dealership. I had $1 million. I didn't have 10 million. I had $1 million in cash. I was only 36 years old. And it was a big opportunity, 15 franchises. But when Bob said, Bert, I want you to not to come work for me, but to become my partner and manage the business while I go vacationing. He said, I want you to buy into my business. You'll get a 35% interest. You'll be paid a $30,000 a month salary plus bonuses, same as what I take. Bonuses are determined on your results. You'll get any car you want for yourself and for your wife, no big deal there. Benefits, whatever you want. However, you need to invest $10 million in order to take advantage of this opportunity. Well, I didn't believe that I could get $10 million. So what would you do if somebody made you an incredible offer, but you didn't believe that you could do it? You'd turn it down. And that popped into my head. And then I remembered from all those years of saying over and over again, if you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you think you can, it's almost certain you won't. For in this world we find that all begins in a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. And so I said, Bob, I don't know how, but I'll get it done. And he says, well, let me know how you do, because I have some other ideas. So I reached out to my dad. I borrowed against my 401k. I borrowed against the equity in my business. I'm sorry, the equity in my house, both houses, the summer home and the one that I had. I also reached out to my former real estate partner and got him involved. And my dad even invested money. And at the end, I was still $1 million shy. So I'm sitting here going, this ain't going to happen. And so I called up Bob and I said, Bob, I got good news and bad news. He said, what's the bad news? I said, well, the good news is that I have $9 million. Will you sell me 30%? He said, no, 35%, that's the number. I said, well, then you're going to need to give me more time. He says, no, we're out of time. And he said, what option did you not explore? I said, Bob, I made a huge list. I explored every option. I went to the banks, I went to investors, I went to friends. He said, are you sure you went through every option? I looked at my cell phone, there was the list. I said, yeah. He says, you didn't ask me. I'm embarrassed. Why wouldn't you ask me to take a buyback? I said, Bob, would you hold $1 million in paper against your dealerships? He says, yeah, F yeah. Doesn't cost me anything, it's paper. Of course I'd give you $1 million. I would have given you 2 if you asked. Learned the lesson. What was that lesson? You don't know until you ask, right? You don't know. And then, we had the rubber had to meet the road after that, and I had to perform. But the point being that if I didn't believe in myself and in my ability, if I hadn't even tried, it would have never happened. It's all in the fact that if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't. And so I encourage all of you to walk away from this with 2 things. One is decide today exactly what it is you want in the 4 major areas of life. Decide what you want to earn financially. Decide what you want your relationship to look like. Now, for me, I have a separate relationship statement, okay, that I affirm 3 times a day. Because the woman that I met on Facebook and I broke up back in July. And then 3 months later, after she went through Rebound Guy, she reached out to me, and now we're back together again, and we're talking engagement rings. So things do change, sometimes in unexpected ways, but you have to have faith and belief. You must have goals for your health and fitness. I am a lean, fit, muscular, 170-pound man that works out at least 3 times per week without fail. And then you have to do it. And fourth, you must have goals for contribution and growth. Because if you make the money and you have a great relationship, you have help, that's a lot. But if you're not giving back to the world, if you're going to wait till you're dead to give away, then you're living in a poverty mentality. Because people that contribute are in an abundance mentality. And so what you receive is in direct proportion to what you give. And what we do is we live by the self-confidence formula and number 5 in the self-confidence formula. And part of being in our mastermind is that you memorize it as well, because you say it out loud every day 5 times. The self-confidence formula in your statement. And so the self-confidence formula number 5 sounds like this. It says, 5th, I know that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I engage in no transaction that does not benefit all whom it affects. I succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. I induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by creating love for all humanity, because I know a negative attitude towards others will never bring me success. I sign my name to this. I cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. I sign my name to this formula, committed to memory, repeat it out loud daily, with full faith that is continually influencing my thoughts and actions, affirming that I am a self-confident, self-reliant, strong, powerful, confident, and successful man of action. I thank you, God, for it is done. And so the mastermind is built on the premise, and the reason we use the self-confidence form is because you have to understand that this is a very powerful thing you're learning. Whatever you write down and you affirm every day and you begin taking action on, you will have. It's not a question of if you'll have it. It's a question of when. And the when is when you believe it. And that's the job of repetition. And we have ways in our mastermind that we teach you to compress time so that it happens sooner, because this is not an overnight formula. I can't take who you've become after 20, 30 years of repeating negative affirmations to yourself and having a negative belief and turn it around right away. It's been done in 4 months and 5 months because the people took everything that is taught in the mastermind group and applied it immediately. We have the technology today to help us in that. However, it's up to you to first identify your goal. And that's what we do in the mastermind. The reason the mastermind was started because I found most people really don't have any idea what they want in life. And so the first thing I do is I help you get crystal clear. Spend an hour getting you crystal clear on the 4 major areas of life. And then we create a powerful and emotional statement. And then we plug in the goals, the rewards. I mean, I don't want to be sitting here and saying, oh, gee, I want to make $100,000. What am I going to do with it? I know I want a Mercedes-Benz SL 550. I know I want a Sea-Ray 260 Sundancer. I know I want $100,000 in liquid cash this year. I know I want a $1.5 million condominium overlooking the beach. So I know every day what I want. I know what I have to do. I have to make an imperative important list daily, 20 contacts per day, 10 presentations per day, 15 new clients per week. If I do that, then everything happens. I don't have to guess. See, the problem is that with most people, they don't know what they want. So when a decision is asked of them, when we make a decision, you know what the process is that we go through? We ask ourselves, will buying this phone move me closer or further away from my goal? Will it make me happy? Will it allow me to communicate with other people? Will it allow me to send little cute emoticons? Everything is about where you want to go. We're goal-driven mechanisms. We're programmed that way. That's why we survived. However, when you don't know your goals and an opportunity comes by, you have to evaluate it against what you already know. Gee, I'd like to make $100,000, but I like to own a car. You can't make a decision that way. But you could wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, Bert, what do you want in life? It is my birthday, February 20, 2017, and I, Bert Superman Herner, am so happy and grateful now that I am receiving over $100,000 in monthly residual income from my global enterprise business. Okay, is what you're recommending me going to help me get closer to $100,000 in income? Is it going to help me get closer to that Mercedes Benz? Is it going to help me get to $100,000 saved in liquid cash this year? If it isn't, thank you very much and have a nice day. You must be crystal clear about the things you want in life. That's how you get them. And once you know your destination, you will steer an almost perfect course to your desired goal. You won't be going this way and that way. You see, because once you adopt this type of belief system, you literally put on the success blinders. If you've ever seen those horses that pull carriages, they have blinders on. Thoroughbreds have blinders on so that they don't look to the left or to the right, but they look straight ahead towards their goals in life. You've decided what are the 4 things that you want for the next 12 months. That's what you should be focused on. And anything that does not bring you closer to that automatically means that you are going to fail. And so in the mastermind group, we spent a great deal of time on mindset, and now we're moving into another area, and I'd like to just mention this briefly. I just started a 100-day challenge, and the 100-day challenge is a mastermind that meets once a week to discuss one goal. We're going to select one goal that we're going to accomplish over 100 days. And when you join the mastermind group at the deluxe level, you'll get a copy of the Freedom Journal, which is an incredible resource created by John Lee Dumas, who is a former veteran who started a podcasting business that is currently generating almost $300,000 a month. He's one of the most recognized podcasters. And what you do in this book is you just, in the morning, you decide what you're grateful for. You write down what your 100-day goal is, and then you write down what are the actions you're going to take. And then at night, you review it and you say, okay, what are 2 wonderful things that happened to me? What did I struggle with? What are the possible solutions for my struggle? Tomorrow will be great because. And so you have written accountability of what you intend to do and then how you did. So that every day you're being reminded not only of your 100-day goal, but what you didn't do and did do so that you can address that. You'll get a copy of this. But the missing component to this, I found, is accountability. And so in the 100-day mastermind, you have a daily accountability. We have a 24/7 accountability chat group on Facebook where you'll be able to communicate with others and post about your accountability. You'll also be you'll be given the opportunity to have an accountability buddy so that every day you can spend 5 minutes just shooting them a quick email or text message telling them how you did on your 100-day goal. Then you'll have the mastermind meeting once a week to hot seat to go over any obstacles that you have in accomplishing your 100-day goal. And so we can all use the power of the mastermind to solve that problem. And these tools are the most powerful. And there's others. You'll get a PDF copy. If you sign up for the basic, you get a PDF copy of it. If you sign for the deluxe, you get a physical copy of the journal. And you'll also get a PDF copy that you can print out. And I believe in this strongly. I ordered a second one already because I'm already making progress on my goal. And then we're going to teach you some powerful things. We're going to teach you what the meaning of the word focus is. Focus means essentially to do one thing until successful. Okay, that's what it really means. And and in the mastermind group, you're going to learn the 3 most powerful words: effectiveness, discipline, and accountability. I'm going to show you techniques for increasing your effectiveness. I'm going to show you techniques for increasing your discipline, and I'm going to show you techniques for increasing your results as well. And we're going to teach you a system called the mastery system, which will allow you to create periods of focus where you will get more done in 25 or 43 minutes than you've ever gotten in your life. And you're going to get an app for the journal that you put right on your smartphone. It's a free app. And the app basically looks like this. And it'll remind you to focus on your 100-day goal. And then you're going to get a second app, which is going to help you with your focus. And I'll teach you how to do that as well. And so you'll be working in focus periods. We're going to go over a technique called batching. And we're going to go over a technique called the Pomodoro technique, which is an excellent tool for focusing that programmers and software developers and anybody that wants to get things done uses. And these techniques are creating a new habit. And so you'll have the support that you need, the motivation and the accountability to make sure you master these skills. But in 100 days, not only will you accomplish your goal, but you will also increase your discipline, effectiveness, and your habits will change. The first thing I wrote in my journal on the first day, I wrote down the following. My top 3 goals to accomplish during this sprint, because what we do is we run in 10-day sprints. Okay, so we take your 100-day goal and we break it down into 10 sprints. So you're going to have periods of focus, and then you're going to get another period of focus. So we break down the goal into 10%, so we can bite it. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I wrote down what my 3 goals were, and then I said one habit I will implement over the next 10 days. I wrote down up by 6:30 every day, and then create my to-do list the night before. Then on the 3rd day, I changed that. I said, I'm going to be up at 5:30 every day, because that extra hour means I get more done. And so what I do is when I get up, I don't go to Facebook. I use this app that I'll share with you that will not allow you to go to Facebook, YouTube, or any social media website until you work on your focus. It'll block it. It's really beautiful. And then we use a timer to help us. And my timer, hold on one second here. Right now, I'm on a break. So if I stop my break and I go back to my focus period, it does this annoying thing. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? Now I can shut that off. Can you hear the ticking? Yes? No? Maybe? So I can shut off the ticking. I can just not have it tick. But what it does is it's going to have me work in a 25-minute period of focused attention. And then I take a 5-minute break. And then I go to another round. So my goal every day is to do 10 rounds of focused work time. And I decide in advance the night before exactly what I'm going to work on. So yesterday I worked on creating the link, the website page for the 100-day Freedom Challenge. And believe me, the 100-day Freedom Challenge is absolutely unlike anything else you'll ever experience, because it's only focused on accomplishing one major goal, one big domino, if you will. That once you accomplish this thing, all the rest of your goals fall down. And so with the process of the accountability journal, the process of creating focus and discipline, and having apps to remind you, having an accountability buddy, having weekly meetings, and accessibility to myself and other people in the group to help you when you're stuck, I guarantee that you'll accomplish your goal, because nobody else does this. This is the only group to my knowledge that does this, because I've been part of Gary Ryan Blair's 100-Day Challenge. I've been part of other people's groups, and all of them forget the one thing, which is I want to focus on accomplishing my goals, not doing some stupid dare. I don't care about cleaning up my closet. That's bullshit. That's not going to bring me closer to my goal. So I want to spend my time focused on the things that are going to bring me results. And so that's what you'll learn. You'll learn how to master discipline, effectiveness, and action. And so I encourage all of you to go to the link that I have put into the chat group. And I'm going to put it one more time. Go to that link and register now. I'm shutting down the enrollment on Wednesday by midnight. And after that, I'm only allowing 50 people into this mastermind because we don't want it too big. So if you haven't, if you take a look at it, you'll see there's a lot of bonuses that I'm throwing in, and I'm going to add one extra bonus. For those of you that are on this call that register today and message me before midnight tonight, before New Year's, I will allow you to participate in our mastermind group. Now, the mastermind group that I talked to you about, that so many of us, so many people are on the call are in, is a $2,000 a year mastermind group. It comes at 3 levels: $2,000, $1,500, and $1,000. And so if you sign up for the Freedom Challenge today, I will give you 90 days access to the mastermind calls. You'll have access to the daily accountability call. You'll have access to the 2 mastermind calls that happen. You'll have access to the secret Facebook group and to the accountability chat group. Bonnie, you look beautiful today. So take advantage of it, and you're going to get more value than I could ever give you. You're going to have access to people that make 8 figures a year, 7 figures a year, 6 figures a year, even people that have no figure. But everybody on the mastermind has a goal, and you will get walked through the process of creating a definite main purpose statement. I will provide you with the template and the tools to be able to do that. And you'll be able to listen to other people's goals, and that will help you in developing your own. So if you're on this call today, that's my special gift to you for the holiday season and into the new year, is that I will give you at no additional charge 3 months access. You will have access until April 1st to the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind group, a group that we've got incredible results. We've got people there that were making $30,000 a month that are now making $150,000 a month. We have people that have picked up we have people that have gotten involved in real estate and have gotten like a $1.5 million interest in a business at no charge. So I put the link in the group. I'm going to post in the chat group. So all you need to do is go and click on chat, and you'll see it. And what I'll do is I'll also post it in the group. Take a look at it. If you have any questions, and we're Facebook friends, message me. If we're not Facebook friends, friend request me, because this is unlike any other group, and I guarantee you that in 100 days, you will accomplish your goal, because all the pieces are in place. You'll be getting your own Freedom Journal, you'll be getting the app, you'll be getting taught on how to use the Pomodoro technique and other techniques for mastery, focus, and discipline. And all these things will be available to you to guarantee that you achieve your goal. And what you'll find is that you'll want to work in 100-day sprints. Brian Moran calls it the 12-week year. Same concept. An intense period of time where you're focused on one specific goal. In the insurance business, we used to call them push quarters, push weeks, and push months. We would just focus on one specific goal, and we would do everything possible to accomplish it. So I'm challenging you to take advantage of this and make 2017 the year that you finally get all the pieces in place and you squash, you crush your goals, and you have the financial independence you want, you have the relationship that you want, you have the health and fitness that you want, and you have the contribution, growth, and spirituality that you want. And so everybody, I want to thank you for being on the call. If you have any questions of me, please message me on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And if I don't see you later on today, I wish you a very happy new year. And I know that 2017 will be your year. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day.
Happy New Year.